Hey guys, so it's that time of year again where people start to go through their exams, whether it's GCSE, A-level or university exams. And I know this can be a very stressful time for some of you, so I thought I'd bring up some tips on how, after having to go through it myself, on the best ways to get you through this period of your life. Before I go into the tips, I just want you to know that these exams is not going to determine the future or the rest of your life. Whether you had one bad paper or had a bad grade in your coursework, it doesn't really matter. Of course it's important to do your best, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get that A star you wanted. Okay, so tip number 1, make sure you give yourself plenty of breaks between each revision session. It's important to give yourself some breaks during revision just to give you time for your mind to kind of absorb the information that you've been taking in. So when you do revise, make sure you try not to get stressed and take plenty of breaks in between each session. The second tip I'll give you is mainly plan out your revision, especially during GCSE times. You've got a lot of subjects to pack into in a very short period of time. So if you make a timetable, then it's going to be easier for you to kind of see where you go and what you have to revise, and you can plan what you want to achieve in that session. It just gives you a more structured and makes you more organised and allows your brain to kind of process the information better if you can see it on the page. The third tip I'd like to give you is make sure you get plenty of sleep. As I mentioned before, if you get stressed, you can't sleep, and without sleep you find it very difficult to retain the information that you're trying to revise and learn. The next tip I want to give you is to make sure that you don't revise too late into the night. It's good if, like I said earlier, spread your time out for your revisions so that you can get enough sleep. Sleep is important. If you're going to get through these exams, you need to be able to have enough sleep to be able to function properly, and I cannot stress that enough. But by revising too late in the night, you're just going to get stressed. You're not going to retain the information that you need to retain, and things are just going to get ugly. Another thing I didn't like to do before my exams was talk to my friends. I think the worst thing you can do right before you're going into the exam hall and you're waiting to go in and they let the doors in for you to sit down and get your paper and start the grueling process of answering the questions is talk to your friends. The best thing is before you go into this exam, you should just chill out, be by yourself, just think about the processes, think about the exam, and the thing to do is just chill out, be on your own. Or if you want to speak to your friend, anything but the exam, I think it's just going to cause you to stress out even more. So when you go in there, you're just going to be panicking and you're not going to be able to answer your questions effectively as you did. All that revising and all that hard work that you've done, it's not going to come to as effective because you've been worrying about stuff that you haven't learned rather than stuff you actually have learned. Something else that I really enjoyed my revision is kind of setting up my revision into little note cards. Sum up all your information and all the information you need to learn into little cards where you can just tie it together, put them in your blazer pocket before. And so when you're walking around school or college and you have like 5 minutes to yourself, you can just chuck them out and just read through them. It's not as intensive revising as something that I would personally do, but it's something good for you to kind of do when you've got that spare time and just reminding yourself constantly of the information that you need to learn for your exam. Also, colour coding may be very good to do this as well. Colour code your different subjects, different units within the subject. The colours are able to give you some visual memorization, so you can revise, oh, that colour went with that piece of information, and then you can write it down because you remember the colour. It seems silly, but it kind of works. Plus it doesn't make your revision look as boring and you might not get as bored as much. It makes it a bit more fun and interesting to do rather than just writing your work out. Another tip I would find as well is to find out the way you revise. This is really important, and especially at GCSE level may be more difficult at the start, but as you go through it you would kind of get to know how you revise and how you retain your information better than everyone else. Something I found it easier, even though it was a lot grueling than a lot of other ways you could go about revising, was just constantly write them out. Write all my information out on an A4 page, then turn it over and write it out again and hope without looking at the page. For some other people it might not be as easy. Some people find it easier to do more listening to it. Record yourself doing it on your phone, and then when you're out and about places, maybe on your bus back and forth from school, when you're going out for a walk maybe, stick your headphones in and just listen to the information, and that'll be quite a good way for you to kind of remember it through that way. Some other people may just find it easier just to read through books and maybe get a bit more context on the information rather than just learning solid facts. It really does depend on how you learn, but you just make sure before you start or as you're revising, try and get used to how you learn and how is the best way for you to retain the information, because it'll make it a lot easier and a lot less stress when you're going through the whole period of all the exams at once. The main thing is out of all this is to make sure you do your best. It's nothing more that anyone can ask for. If you try your hardest and revise as much as you can and the paper doesn't go well, then nobody can ask you anything more from you. Also, make sure that if you're feeling like you can't cope with the stress, because a lot of people find it difficult and find it hard to deal with sometimes, just go to speak to someone you're close to. This could be a parent, a sibling, a friend, or maybe a teacher, that you can just kind of just talk to them and maybe find ways that you can manage your stress and manage in the way that you deal with these exams in a different way to help you, so that you're able to get the best results that you can get. A month to go until summer, so if that doesn't get you pumped and get you motivated to get these exams done, I don't know what will. Very good luck to all of you, and I hope that you have a really, really good day. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.